because the beings assigned and trusted to this world went astray, and every religion knows about it. They call him Satan, the devil, and everything like that. Those are just words, but they hit it dead on that that's just what happened. Remember, Michael, there are many levels of intelligence in the universe, and that the human species is the lowest form of intelligence in the universe. The lowest. Right here, down here. Like just as you look down at the maggots or the ants or the worms. The gap, the vast gap between the worm and you. The gap between man and the divine is vastly greater than between you have a closer relationship to that ant or to that worm as a human being compared to the gap between that. The book is the gift of revelation to tell you. It is for everybody at their own. And what's great about a book, rather than having to go to a lecture, a video, or anything like that, you don't miss anything because it's right there at your level of consciousness. To the degree you do or know, and the pace, the key, as I said, you must qualify in life for everything. But the thing you were never told is the pace belongs to each individual's. That's almost like sacredness. The pace at which you are to ascend or progress and put forth everything all resides with every individual. There's no peer pressure, or you're not taking it. Doesn't that sound like perfection? To know when a newborn comes into the world, there are requirements throughout the universe, and you do want to require this thing, but the pace at which you go belongs. How freeing is that? No more, I better it's a 1 hour test or I don't go to second grade. How foolish, how backwards. No, when you're ready, you're in a wholehearted sword. You will accomplish the universe when you are ready at heart. Not being manipulated and saying you must do this. Remember I told you, coming to the divine is not a list of don't do's, it's a list of do's. Excel. It's a real romance and everything. The book speaks of these things. In fact, it uses that word. We don't need any words anymore. I just realized that. We don't need a sermon by me, the sovereign of the universe. I didn't come here to sermon. I come here. Look at these. I stand pledged and ready to go into the world to retrieve that which unthinking man has placed in spiritual jeopardy. That's why I'm here, to retrieve this. Because my subordinates who were entrusted this rebelled and left this world confounded. To retrieve that. At my level, we stand pledged and ready to go into the world and retrieve that which unthinking man, keyword unthinking man, has placed in spiritual jeopardy. Because human death of the body, that's nothing, but we're talking the spiritual jeopardy on this planet. That's what it is. That's the essence. We can replace the body and replace the mind. You know that, Michael. The book speaks of that. But the essence, they don't know. And very few beings from this world, every religion talks about going to glory in heaven. No, not beings from this world. There are detention centers that you go, and you don't even go to this world is so backwards, they don't even go to the detention centers. They sleep. And 5 days or 5,000 years in this slumber, there's no passage of time. And then what we do now, we're at a level where on this world is so backward, you can't even wait to go to detention center. Some will. There are will. Your Jesus of Nazareth, your Siddhartha Buddhas, your those, and in this day and age, Herbert W. Armstrong, as I said, the Dalai Lama, they'll ascend up immediately but what kind of life do they live? They're spiritual beings. They're not on here to hot up to acquire wealth, fame, and fortune. They may well get that, but that's not their, these beings are the exceptions to the rules. And they're not alone, but to name a few. Those are the ones that, when they give up the life in the flesh, and unfortunately they didn't have to do that. They could have translated from among the living. I'm going to do that. And I know how difficult it is, believe me. That's another reason I came here, to see what a 20th and a 21st century man could find the divine and then proceed. And I tell you, I found the divine when that veil was in, but it's next to impossible to walk that on this planet. How could you? I'm still a single man with the entire world 360 degrees around, with everybody with warped mind, sinners, rebellious, backwards. How can any single individual do that? But one with God is a majority. It's my divinity that's anchored in me that allows me to stand just like Jesus Nethers or the prophets or saints that says, take the mechanism, take the life. Okay? It's that. Man has no thing. And there's no life in the flesh. Life is in the spirit. But but mankind is in spiritual jeopardy, individually and collectively. That is not to say there are numerous people who are awakened, but to walk that walk. I mean, you know as an individual, you know how difficult it is. The allures, the temptations, the distractions out there are overwhelming in every aspect. If you want to join an organization, the organization seems to be swallowing up the individuality in human beings. And it was the intent for every individual to be a unique being. The one thing we don't want to do with organization and institutionalizing is to in any way infringe upon human initiative. That's freeing human initiative. That every human being with all its laws, rules, regulations, and the powers in no way infringe upon any being with a creative imagination to give manifest and explore and utilize that. Isn't that living? When you know there is no power or entity strong enough that will suppress or oppress that? Not so of this world. They don't want to do that. The religions want to do that. They want to brainwash you, the institutions, government or otherwise. Remember what the book also says, okay? That there is little but nothing on this planet that meets with anything more than partial approval. Think about that line alone. That when superior beings from superior worlds come down to such a lowly spirit as this and survey it and realize that there is blessedly nothing, whether it's an educational system, a government system, an economic system, a political system, or this is nothing of any human, and that's part of the plan. Because as I told you, man is a creature, created by a creator, and he was created to have a relationship with that. When man rebelled and became sinful and wanted to do it his way, he causes that divide, and he has nothing, and there is no resort except he's going to go through life with many obstacles and pitfalls, and eventually the graveyard. And that's justice. He deserves to be there because he wanted to do it his way, and we did. We've allowed this world to go on. I said 7,000 years shy. As we speak right now.
Okay, just making sure it's still going.
You know, based upon, I told you, even if you read the book, paper 52, 55, and the last 3, if that's all you read in the book, it'll show you where you're at and where you're not. So, Michael, even starting up this thing is not it. Oh, do this. The world needs this. If it wasn't these lighthouses like yourself, but it's not going to change the world. What's going to change your world is that when I have my one United Nations, and right now, if we want to quote it, and tell man the real world he's living in, and it's not good news, but the good news is that there is salvation, there is grace. That's the good news. And coming to the vine, like I said, I'll always end with the good news, and that is we're breaking the shackles and bondage of this very world, of even your own mentality, which, remember, every human being should know this on this planet, Michael. I told you long ago, there is no such word as deception. There is a word that goes hand in hand with that word, and what is the word?
Self.
Self-deception. Self-deception. Whether it's the billionaire or not, they're self-deceived. Because justice is absolute. Nobody nobody gets away with any. It only looks like. But when you extend that picture, remember, you begin over there, right where you left off here. Those lessons you refuse to learn for whatever reason have to be made up over there. But those who are doing it here, as I already told you, you up your status in the universe, and you miss 2nd and 3rd grade, and you're shot up to 4th, 5th, or wherever you're at. Perfect justice, is it not? But nobody gets away, and it doesn't look like that way. And as far, so we have to touch hearts and souls. Remember the difference between spirit and soul is the soul, the spirit is the essence of the divine. It's your gift. Humans are given 3 gifts, not just on this planet, but on every human evolutionary planet, 3 gifts. The gift of life is number 1. And life is not like the Star Wars, let the force, no, it's something other than force, energy, and power. And it only can be given by the divine, the essence, the source, or his immediate offspring, such as myself. I give life. I only have one thing to give every being on this planet. 1, life. Okay? 2,000 years ago, the God-man Jesus of Nazareth was here, and he says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. Life. No man come to the Father except by way of me. And believe me, that's so. Theorize all you want. Hold any concept you want in your mind. It falls dead with just what your body in the graveyard if it's not aligned with the divine. So you can hold that all the theories and all these things. We're past all those. This is not a time for words. This is a time for doing, for action. And in fact, here it is, front page. It's up to us. This is the shooting, the youth.
Oh, okay.
Why the world's going to change. Here it is. Let me read this one line. In those